It's closing time for the Philadelphia Phillies, but who should they go with in the ninth inning? That's the topic of discussion today. Kyle Gaffner is here. I am Adrian Fedque. So this is our weekly Philly show. We're going to talk about Hector Neris, Dubry Ramos, maybe some Sir Anthony Dominguez, some other guys, and what Gabe Kapler's doing right now.
Yes, sir. A little Phillies talk, baby. Basketball starting to wind down. So let's start to get into the bulk of the summer game. You know, I love to see that the Phillies are doing. I mean, they're playing really well.
You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. They got the fifth best record in baseball right now.
I mean, that is like far exceeding expectations. I mean, I expected them to be like a wild card team, but who knows, man? They might make a deeper run. But talking about the bullpen, I never really thought it was a strength this year. I know a lot of writers thought it would be. But with Gabe, he was traditionally using Hector Neris as a closer, and you didn't think you'd see something like that. You know, a guy that comes from an analytical background, he would go with the hot hand or whoever he felt would be best suited to face and close these games out. Well, as Hector Neris, I was never a fan of him closing games, even last year. I feel like he's a better eighth inning guy. He doesn't really have the stuff to be a closer. He's got a nice split, but when that's not on, what are you going to do? You don't have any other pitches to really get yourself out of it. And it's not like he blows you away with his power fastball. There's nothing there. So you've got other guys that you could really lean on. And Eddie Ramos, kind of scares me a little bit, again, from last year and what I saw down at spring training. But he has been pitching very well. So, maybe Gabe should really give him a look.
Yeah, that ERA right now is very, very minuscule, but we'll get into that in a second. So first, let's kind of talk about what's going on. If you haven't been paying attention to the Phillies, so Hector Neris was kind of taken out of his role, basically, last weekend. He's blown 3 of his 11 save opportunities. He's got a 5.06 ERA. This comes on the heels of last season, 26 of 29 save opportunities converted, 89.7% save rate, tied for 8th last year among relievers with 20 or more saves. So, he has done in the past, although you kind of explained, maybe he's not the best for that spot considering he only really has that one pitch. But it is a pretty devastating pitch when it is on. So what did Gabe Kapler do this past week? On Wednesday, I believe it was, when they were playing the Orioles. So you had Ramos in there in the 9th inning. He got the first 2 outs on 6 pitches. And then in waltzes in Hector Neris from the bullpen to get the last out of the game. There were sighs from people on Twitter. And basically, Gabe Kapler was trying to reinvigorate Neris' confidence in that sense. So that was kind of like his explanation after the game. And if Kyle, as you know, Gabe Kapler is a guy that wants to instill confidence in his players. That's like really, really important for him on the totem pole of what he wants to accomplish with this Phillies organization. So it was a way. He liked the matchup. He wanted to get him back and feeling comfortable because obviously he had been blowing those saves recently. I mean, some heartbreaking losses for the Phillies, against the Mets and the Nationals. But that was a way to install his confidence. Did you like that move to do what Gabe Kapler did?
I'm okay with him doing that because Gabe's not going to be one to shy away what he believes in. He's not going to care what the media's going to think or the fans if they want to boo him like the first series like they did. He's going to do what is best for the team. So that's okay with me trying to instill confidence in the guy who thinks has the best chance to close out games. Sure, why not? I mean, he's a player skip. So why not give that guy in a pressure situation? You've been struggling. I have confidence in you. Go out there and show me what you can do.
Yeah. It's interesting because you kind of talked about this a little. I don't remember if you talked about it on the show or if we talked about it before the show. But heading into the season, Gabe Kapler wanted to try a lot of different and new things. But he's been kind of hesitant on that in terms of what's going on with the bullpen. At first glance, it seemed like Gabe wanted to install a bullpen by committee approach, but Neris has kind of been the closer right from the get-go, and he hasn't derived from that. He's kept Neris in there until last weekend when he kind of pulled the plug, and what he talked about was this kind of like bullpen by committee kind of situation, just playing the matchups and not really mattering what inning the guy pitches. It's about whenever you really need those outs, that's when you kind of put in your most dominating pitcher, so to speak. So I got some quotes from Gabe. I'm going to read them to you. So, all right, here we go. The game is valuing guys who are a little bit more flexible in a different way than they ever have. I personally believe that there is this mental toughness that comes along with a guy who can come to the ballpark every day and just be like, use me however you want to use me. Put me in any situation. I'm game for anything. That's a hard thing to do. For that reason, we move slowly and we think long about the decisions that we make. I think that eventually players will realize how much value they bring to the team when they're flexible. And then they'll also realize, and this is just my personal opinion, that clubs will eventually pay for that. So it will, in turn, be a win for them and for the club at the same time, and that's a pretty cool thing. So, you know, he was kind of answering a question, I believe, of, you know, kind of like traditional thinking and traditional closers, and, you know, that's what the players are used to. They're used to being in a specific role. And what he's asking these relievers to do is not really have a specific role, but play the matchups, play the percentages, play the analytics, you know, aspect of the game, so to speak. And I think he's slowly trying to get to that. So we kind of saw earlier in the year, you know, like what he was trying to do things too quickly with, you know, the Aaron Nola situation. First game of the year, he takes him out too early. So maybe what he's kind of doing is he wants to implement his ideas, but he's doing it little by little. So then when it actually comes to him bringing those new ideas to the table, the players are actually ready for it.
Yeah, and like you said, traditionally that's what they're used to. Baseball has changed a little bit. You're going to go more towards the analytics, but you want to slowly bring them along. And I know he wants to find that even keel between old school and new school. You want to mix it up a little bit. He should have confidence in what he's going to do and what he believes, you know, so he should instill that in his players as well. I mean, you think about it, it is an inning. You don't want to sit there and think, I'm just the seventh inning guy. Just go out there and play baseball, you know, because a lot of these guys that are in the bullpen were starting pitchers at one point. So that was a change. So why not just have this be the same thing? You're not going to be the seventh inning guy. Go in there in the fourth and get me some outs. So that's the mindset they should have had. They should have. They were starters at one point, moved to the bullpen. So you're always constantly changing, even in baseball and life, everything. You're always going to have to pivot at some point.
Yeah. So it appears as if they're kind of going this bullpen by committee approach, but we'll kind of see as more games kind of pile up, and we'll see what Gabe kind of does. Ramos did pick up a save this past week, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. So he has gotten that nod. He was the first guy that got it after Neris. But the thing for me is if they do kind of name a closer, I think it should be Sir Anthony Dominguez, because he's got electrifying stuff. And I've heard the counter argument, okay, he's only 23 years old. Maybe you don't want to put him in that position. But isn't that what they did with Neftali Feliz when he was earlier on in his career? I kind of believe in that. Like a big arm with electrifying stuff. Maybe you don't want him to be a starter right now. You let him close. You let him get used to that. And then when you want him to be a starter, you have him be a starter. But right now, I would bring him in as the closer. That's what I would do. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you there. He was filthy. I loved seeing him down in spring training. I thought he had electrifying stuff. When Yaxel Rios got hurt, they brought in, Sir Anthony Dominguez. And when I saw this guy pitch, I was just blown away with the way he's able to control the ball. He's got a lot of movement on it, and he's a power pitcher. He throws, 98, close to 100 miles an hour, and you want to have an arm like that in the back of your bullpen. And maybe he could become a starter, but bring him along slowly. Yeah, he's young, but the kid has got some nasty stuff. And to go along with that fastball, he's got a nasty slider that drops, between 12 to 15 miles an hour in between. So you're going to speed his bat up with 100 miles an hour and then throw a slider that's, 94 or something like that? That's disgusting. You want to have a closer. That's the kind of stuff you want to have in your closer, to fear people, to close games out. Remember, like the Papelbons, the Mariano Riveras, stuff like that.
There you go. So those are kind of our thoughts on the closer situation. Now we'll kind of move on and just kind of recap the week. I mean, the Phillies right now are playing electrifying baseball. They're 25-16, fifth best record in baseball. I mean, who would have thought after their start and everybody wanted Gabe Kapler out of town? They basically ran him out of town after one game, which was like crazy. But that's what happened. So right now, the Phillies starters are the ones that have really picked up their play, especially in May. So they've given up 1 run or less in 11 of 13 starts this month, 1.92 ERA. So we talked about before the season, you get the hot and cold of Vince Velasquez and Nick Pivetta. Well, we're getting the red hot Nick Pivetta and Vince Velasquez right now.
Oh yeah, and they're still young, of course. And we've been waiting on Vince for a while, but this is what happens with him. He'll have a really, really amazing game, and then he'll go out there and throw a clunker. He'll last 2 innings, and he won't be able to get a guy out. I mean, he does have that strikeout stuff when he throws it. He leads the team in strikeouts with 55. He's got some tenacious stuff out there. Injury. We just want to see some consistency out of him. And the same with Nick Pivetta. The guy is filthy when he can be, but it goes with consistency and making adjustments throughout the season. He had that 11 strikeout game 2 games ago against the Baltimore Orioles. Now I want to see what he's going to be able to do in the next game. Is he going to be able to follow that up with another 10 strikeout game? I think this is his 4th time he's done this as a starter.
Yeah. So we're getting there, man. All right. So I'm looking at comments now, and Sean Fitzpatrick. I love me some Sean Fitzpatrick. He is still not a Kapler believer. He needs to do some more with him. So he goes, don't like the Neris situation with Kapler. Neris is not good enough to close. Stop trying to fix his hurt feelings. This isn't T-ball where everyone gets a trophy. Now, baseball is a game maybe more than any of the other 4 sports where confidence is paramount. And if you can do a little thing, if you truly believe it can get you 1 out and it's going to improve your confidence, I think that is more important than you might think. But that's just me. What do you think, Kyle?
No, it is a mind game, and I played baseball for a really long time. It is a mental game more than any other sport out there. I mean, you could have all the talent in the world, but if you get in a funk and you believe you're not going to be able to get out of that funk, one little simple hit, a bunt on base could really, really boost your confidence, and then you're feeling great again, like you're in the zone. It's 100% like chess, dude.
Yeah. He also responds, what's sad is their best reliever, Neshek, hasn't pitched yet. If he comes back, look out. Yeah, I'm with him there.
Yeah, Neshek was awesome for us last year, and we traded him, got a couple prospects from the Rockies. Once you get a guy that can throw it from the side like he can, I mean, it's not electrifying, but it's got a lot of movement on it, and he's a veteran guy that could go along with the rest of this bullpen. I mean, he could be a nice even closer, to set up for Sir Anthony Dominguez. You have 7th, 8th, and 9th, and I definitely think Neris is more of an 8th inning guy.
Yep. And then Sean also says, Rick Kranitz, the Phillies MVP right now, what he's done as the pitching coach with the young starters. I'm with him. I think he's done a really great job.
Tell me it wasn't huge picking up, the Cubbies pitcher. Huge getting it. It really bolstered this young core. And, I mean, it's led by Aaron Nola, who I said at the beginning of the season, I think he's going to win 20 games this year and possibly compete for a Cy Young. I still believe that.
Yeah.
Because he's been outstanding.
Philly 0024 says, like Sir Anthony, but I don't want him in that position right now, maybe in a month or so. I think he's ready.
I think he's ready too. Yeah. So why does he think? I wonder why he doesn't think he's ready now. Is it because of his age?
I'm not sure. If he's watching, you can.
Yeah, that's why I was posing a question to Philly. Yeah, the guy you just read the comment from.
Yeah. Does the Cano situation in Seattle cause them to call the Phillies about Cesar Hernandez?
I like that. Possibly. He's out for the rest of the season, right? Or he's suspended for 80 games or the rest of the season?
He's suspended for a minute.
He's long. Plus, he broke his hand. He broke a bone in his hand, so he's going to be out for a while.
Yeah.
I like that situation.
80-game suspension. So you got a while. I mean, the Mariners right now, they're 24-19. So they are in a playoff position. I don't know how good they are, but right now they're a playoff team.
It seems like they've been a playoff team for like the longest time with Felix out there, and then they sign Cano. Like they just do enough, and then they implode at the end. They always fall short.
Yeah. So like by the time June, July rolls around, maybe they're out of it. But right now they're kind of in it, so maybe they do want somebody, and maybe that's the team that Cesar Hernandez does go to.
That would be great, dude. I'd like to see it there. Look at their prospect list, see who we could get for Cesar. And get Kingery in there every day.
Yeah, So Philly responded, he goes, yeah, because he's only been up for a couple of weeks, so just give him a little bit more time. if he's got the stuff, man, and I don't know, my gut feeling is that he's ready. I don't think you need to wait. But
I think he is ready. I think I'm with you. I think he's ready now. He's got the electrifying stuff. Yeah, he's young, but what's the worst that can happen? He blows the saber too, but at least it gives him the confidence that he's able to be at the back end.
Yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying though. Like, because like we just kind of talked about it with confidence in baseball and how it's it's something that you don't really want to tinker with too much and mess around with. So I get the sense, if you want to play it safe and you want to be a little bit more patient, okay. But from what I've seen, I think he looks so damn dominant out there that I don't think it would ruin his confidence if you throw him out there right now.
No, and I think not making the team at the beginning of the year really only bolstered his confidence even more to do what he did. And then when we lost Hunter, they brought him up. I know he's only been in 5 games, but still, it shows confidence that I think maybe he is ready. And Gabe's not a traditional guy, so maybe he will throw him out there.
Yeah, Sean does not like traditional or untraditional.
I know he doesn't. He's all about that traditional play. I get it. Hey, man, you're stuck in your ways and you don't like change and stuff. I get it, dude. It happens.
John and I were talking last week about Whitey Herzog and all the great managers from the 80s, and it's just a different game, man. Different game.
Yep. I was talking with not the same sport, but with friends about how basketball in the early 90s, how different it was when you had all this competition, all these not these super teams, and you don't have the 4 great teams that you expect to see year in and year out. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Brian Tapia asks, should we trade Franco at the deadline?
And then have who would play third then? Would you? I guess you would insert Kingery. I don't know. I've actually liked what I've seen out of Mikel. Not gonna lie. I trade him while his stuff's high, but if we get rid of Cesar and have Kingery play his natural position at second, I'm okay with Mikel staying there because don't forget Machado's still out there.
Yeah,
I'd love to go after Machado.
He responded Machado would play third. Well, you got to get Machado first.
What's up?
He responded Machado would play third.
Would he? I don't know, dude. They seem to think he's more natural shortstop. Would you put Crawford over there at third base?
I would have Machado at third.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we'd have to give up a lot to get there, Mr. Machado.
That's another show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. That's pretty much it. I mean, we got a couple other comments. Put Neris in the Tommy Hunter role. He blows. Maybe we put Nishak in a closing role once he gets to 100%. So
I could see Nishak working his way in. 8th, 9th.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Are you concerned about Mickey Moniak?
No. Still a very young pup.
Yeah.
He's gonna take his lumps.
Everybody takes their lumps.
Yeah. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty much it on the chat front. So those were the questions from the people out there. So thanks a lot, guys, for chiming in and participating in the show. So Kyle, you got anything else you want to discuss?
I got pretty much everything. No, I got pretty much everything I wanted to say.
Okay. All right. The Fighting Phils, baby. This is gonna be a fun summer, dude.
I can't wait, dude. It's the sad basketball's coming to an end, but then now we got baseball just following it right up, and then football, baby. It's never ending. It's awesome.
So, like one of the shows that we'll have to do soon is, can the Phillies keep up the pace?
We like to slump sometimes in midsummer and then turn it on.
There are some people that think the Phillies are gonna drop off. We'll see. That's a topic for another show, though. So that's what we'll do. That is Kyle Gaffner. I am Adrian Fecchio. That's our show for this week regarding the Phillies. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and leave us some comments. Who do you want to be? Should be the closer of the Phillies, or do you like this bullpen by committee kind of approach? We'll kind of see what happens in the next couple of weeks with this. So it'll be interesting to see what bullpen by Gabe, what he's going to do. Yeah. Yes, that's Kyle. I'm Adrian. We out. Peace.
Peace.